I gave my family everything, but when I needed help, they turned their backs on me. Hi everyone! Before we get into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed that the channel's reach has been dropping a bit, and one of the best ways you can support us is by subscribing. It's quick, free, and helps us keep bringing you new and interesting stories. Your support means the world to us, and together, we can grow this channel. Thank you so much. Now let's get to today's story. I'm writing from a temporary account for obvious reasons, and I've changed some details to protect my anonymity. I remember the smell of my mother's pies that August evening when I was 23. The kitchen windows were fogged with steam, and the entire house seemed wrapped in that warm, yeasty comfort that makes you believe family is forever. My younger brother Danny sat at the table, his college acceptance letter crumpled in his fist, tears streaming down his face. "I can't go," he said. "We don't have the money." Mom stood by the stove, her shoulders tight, stirring something that didn't need stirring. Dad had left us 3 years earlier, and the word divorce still felt like broken glass in our mouths. Mom worked double shifts at the hospital, but it was never enough. Never enough for 3 kids, a mortgage, and the dreams we'd been taught to have. I looked at my own acceptance letter, tucked in my bag upstairs. Full scholarship to the state university. My ticket out. My future. "I'll take a gap year," I heard myself say. "I'll work. We'll figure it out." Mom turned, her eyes red. "Sweetheart, no. You've worked so hard." But Danny's face had already transformed. Hope, bright and desperate, flooding back in. "Really?" he whispered. "You'd do that?" I smiled. It felt like the right thing to do. It felt like love. "We're family," I said. "We take care of each other." That gap year became 2 years, then 5. Then it stopped being a gap at all and became just my life. I got a job at the bank, starting as a teller. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead 12 hours a day. I paid for Danny's first year, then helped with his textbooks, then his apartment deposit when he wanted to live off campus. "Just this once," he always said. "I'll pay you back." My younger sister, Rachel, needed braces. Mom couldn't afford them, and Rachel cried about the teasing at school. 14 years old, holding her hand over her mouth when she smiled. I took out a credit card. The orthodontist had a payment plan. "You're an angel," Mom said, hugging me so tight I couldn't breathe. "I don't know what we'd do without you." The years folded into each other like pages in a book I couldn't stop reading. I was 28 when Mom got sick. Just exhaustion, the doctor said. She needed to cut back her hours. But cutting back meant less money, and less money meant the mortgage was at risk. I started sending her $500 a month, then $700. Then I just paid the mortgage directly. It was easier that way. My supervisor at the bank, Margaret, called me into her office one day. "You're good at this," she said. "Have you ever thought about getting your degree in finance? We have a management program." I had thought about it. Every single day. I still kept my old acceptance letter in a drawer at home, the paper soft from being unfolded and refolded so many times, the creases were wearing through. "Maybe someday," I said. "Don't wait too long," Margaret said gently. "Someday has a way of never coming." But there was always something. Danny graduated and needed help with his security deposit in the city, where he'd gotten a job. Rachel wanted to study abroad junior year. Mom's car broke down, and she needed it to get to work. I met Tom when I was 31. He was a loan officer at another branch, transferred to ours for 6 months. He had kind eyes and brought me coffee without asking how I took it. Somehow he just knew. 2 creams, 1 sugar. "You look tired," he said one Tuesday afternoon. "I'm fine," I said automatically. The response was so practiced, it didn't even feel like lying anymore. "You know," he said, leaning against my desk in that easy way of his, "it's okay to not be fine sometimes." We started dating. Quiet dinners at cheap restaurants, walks in the park, his hand warm in mine. He made me laugh. I'd forgotten I could do that laugh for no reason, just because something was funny and the world felt light for a moment. 6 months in, he asked me to move in with him. His apartment was small but sunny, with plants in the windows and books stacked on every surface. I can't, I said. My mom needs. Your mom is 62 years old, Tom said softly, and your brother and sister are both adults now. When do you get to live your life? I felt something crack open inside me. Anger? Grief? I wasn't sure. They're my family, I said. This is what family does. Tom was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I grew up in foster care. I didn't have a family, but I learned something. Real love doesn't drain you empty, it fills you up. I cried that night, great heaving sobs that seemed to come from somewhere deep and old inside me. Tom held me, and for the first time in years, I let myself be held. But I still didn't move in with him. There was Rachel's graduation coming up, and Mom wanted to throw her a party. Danny was engaged, and weddings were expensive. I was the oldest. I was the strong one. This was my job. Tom proposed to me on a Tuesday in March. We were in his apartment, and he'd cooked dinner pasta with too much garlic, the way I liked it. He got down on one knee, and the ring was simple and perfect. Marry me, he said. Let's build something. Just us. I said yes. God, I wanted to say yes. I wanted it so badly I could taste it. We set a date for October. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Nothing fancy. We'd save money, maybe buy a little house. But then Mom called. Honey, she said, and I could hear the tears in her voice. I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to be a burden. The hospital bills from a minor surgery she'd had 6 months ago had gone to collections. She'd been too embarrassed to say anything. Now they were threatening to put a lien on the house where I'd grown up, the house where Dad's ghost still lived in the doorframes and the creak of the stairs. How much? I asked. 15,000, she whispered. But I'll figure it out. I'll get a loan. I'll take care of it, I heard myself say. Tom's face when I told him. I'll never forget it. Not angry. Worse than angry. Resigned. The wedding fund, he said. It wasn't a question. I'll make it back. We can postpone. Just a few months. It's never a few months with you, he said quietly. There's always something else. Someone else who needs you more than I do. That's not fair. Isn't it? He looked at me with those kind eyes that had first made me feel seen. I love you, but I can't compete with your guilt, and I can't watch you disappear anymore. He left, not dramatically. He just packed a bag and left, and the apartment felt enormous and cold without him. I paid Mom's bills. I always paid the bills. Rachel graduated from college and wanted to move to New York to pursue acting. She needed first month, last month, security deposit. Just until I get on my feet, she said. You know how it is. I was 35 years old. I lived in a studio apartment that smelled like the Indian restaurant downstairs. I had $3,000 in my savings account and no retirement plan. My hair was starting to gray at the temples, and I'd stopped making appointments with the salon. Too expensive. But Rachel was my baby sister. She'd been 9 when Dad left. So little, so scared. I'd been the one to sit with her during the thunderstorms, to help her with her homework, to tell her everything would be okay. I sent her the money. Danny's wedding was beautiful, expensive. The bride's family paid for most of it, but there were still the groomsmen gifts, Danny's tux, the rehearsal dinner. You'll be in all the photos, he said, grinning. My big sister, my rock. I smiled for the photos. I'm good at smiling. I've had a lot of practice. During the reception, Mom grabbed my hand. She'd had a few glasses of champagne, and her eyes were glittery. Look at them, she said, watching Danny and his new wife dance. Look at what we built, you and me. We did this. Yeah, I said. We did. I don't know what I would have done without you all these years, she said. You sacrificed so much. But that's what makes you special. You've always put family first. She hugged me, and I hugged her back, and something inside me felt numb. Not warm, just numb. We'll never leave you, she said into my shoulder. You know that, right? Family is forever. We take care of each other. I wanted to believe her. I wanted it so badly. The crash came on a Wednesday in November. I was 37 years old. Margaret called me into her office. She looked older than I remembered, tired. The bank was downsizing, restructuring. Corporate words that meant real things. People losing jobs, families struggling. I fought for you, she said, but they're eliminating the entire department. I'm so sorry. Severance pay, 2 months. After 15 years, 2 months. I went home and sat in my studio apartment and stared at the wall. I'd been so careful, so responsible. But the savings account I'd been trying to rebuild was meager, barely enough for rent and food for a few months, if I was extremely careful. The credit cards were maxed from the various family emergencies. I'd always meant to pay them down, but there was always something else. I should have panicked. Instead, I felt eerily calm. This was fixable. It had to be fixable. I'd just find another job. I was qualified, experienced. Everything would be fine. But the job market had changed. I'd been in the same position for so long. My skills weren't current. The interviews went badly. We're looking for someone with a degree, they said. We're looking for someone younger. They didn't say that last part, but I could see it in their eyes. 3 months passed. Then 4. The severance ran out. I started using the credit cards for groceries, for utilities. The interest rates were criminal. But what choice did I have? I called Danny first. My hands shook as I dialed. I'd never asked for help before, not once. I'd always been the one giving it. Hey, sis! He sounded cheerful, busy. I could hear his wife in the background, laughing about something. What's up? I lost my job, I said. The words felt strange in my mouth, shameful. A few months ago, I've been looking, but I haven't found anything yet, and I'm running out of savings. I was wondering if maybe... Oh man, that sucks, he said. His voice changed, became careful. Have you tried LinkedIn? I've heard that's really good for job hunting. Yeah, I've tried everything. Danny, I'm in trouble. Real trouble. I might lose my apartment next month if I don't. The thing is, he said, talking faster now, we're pretty strapped ourselves right now. Jessica's pregnant. We haven't told anyone yet, and we're trying to save for the baby. Medical bills, you know. It's crazy expensive. Congratulations, I said automatically. That's wonderful. But Danny, I just need... I wish I could help. I really do. But you've always been so strong, you know, so capable. You'll figure it out. You always do. The line went quiet for a moment. I have to go, he said. Jessica needs me, but good luck with the job search. Keep me posted. He hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, staring at nothing. The walls of my apartment seemed to press in closer. Okay, that was fine. Danny was starting a family. I understood. I called Rachel next. She picked up on the 4th ring, music pumping in the background. Hey, what's going on? I explained again. Job loss. Months of searching. The apartment, the bills, the desperate situation. Oh my God, she said. That's so scary. Have you thought about freelancing? Everyone's doing the gig economy now. Rachel, I need help. Like actual help. Could you maybe... Here's the thing, she interrupted. I'm completely broke right now. Like, eating ramen broke. I just booked this showcase, and I had to pay for it myself, $2,000. It's a huge opportunity, but it wiped me out. I literally have $37 in my checking account. $2,000. I'd given her 3 times that amount for her move to New York just 2 years ago. Maybe you could stay with Mom for a while, Rachel suggested. Just until you get back on your feet? Rachel, I've got to run. We're rehearsing. But seriously, check out Fiverr or something. Love you. She hung up. I called Mom last. I saved her for last because I knew, or I thought I knew, that she would help. We'd been through everything together. I'd kept her afloat for 15 years. Sweetheart, she said when I told her. Her voice was sympathetic, but there was something underneath it. Something careful. I wish I could help. I really do. Mom, I just need a place to stay for a couple months. Just until. The thing is, I'm finally in a good place, she said quickly. I've been seeing someone. Jim. He's retired and he's moving in next month. We're finally going to travel, do all the things I've been putting off. I haven't been happy in so long, honey. Not since your father left. I understand, I said. My voice sounded far away, like it belonged to someone else. That's great, Mom. I'm happy for you. I knew you'd understand. You've always been the strong one, the capable one. You don't need help. You've always figured things out on your own. Yeah, I said. I guess I have. So, Jim and I are actually flying to Arizona tomorrow to look at retirement properties. But call me when you get a new job. I want to hear all about it. Sure, Mom. Love you, sweetheart. The line went dead. I sat on my floor, back against the wall, phone still pressed to my ear, even though no one was there anymore. The apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the sound of traffic outside. Strong, capable, independent. All the words that meant, you don't deserve help. You don't deserve to be weak. You don't deserve to need anyone. The eviction notice came 2 weeks later. I packed my things into boxes. Not many things, it turned out. 15 years of working, of giving, and I could fit my life into 6 cardboard boxes. The furniture was cheap, not worth moving. I left it for whoever came next. There was a women's shelter 3 miles away. I'd looked it up online, read the rules. No drugs, no alcohol. Curfew at 9. 30-day maximum stay. I'd never imagined this. Not once. Even in my darkest moments, I'd assumed there was a safety net. That's what family was supposed to be, right? The net that caught you when you fell? But there was no net. There never had been. Just me, holding everyone else up, my arms shaking, my back breaking, until there was nothing left to hold. The day I was supposed to leave the apartment, I got a call. Danny. For one wild, desperate moment, I thought maybe he'd changed his mind. Maybe he'd talked to Mom. Maybe they'd all realized. Hey, he said. Listen, I hate to ask, but Jessica and I are in a bind. Her car broke down, and the repair is going to be $2,000. I know you're dealing with stuff right now, but do you think you could spot us just until my bonus comes through? I'll pay you back, I swear. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It came out harsh and broken, more like choking than laughter. What's so funny? He asked, sounding offended. I'm being evicted today, I said. I'm going to a homeless shelter, and you're asking me for money. Silence. Oh, he said finally. I didn't realize it was that bad. Yeah? Well, have you thought about getting a roommate or something? Splitting costs? I hung up. The shelter was clean, at least. Institutional. Rows of beds, each with a small lockbox underneath. The women there had hard eyes and harder stories. Domestic violence, addiction, mental illness. Me. What was my story? I gave everything, and it wasn't enough? I didn't sleep the first night. I lay on the narrow mattress and stared at the ceiling and thought about all the choices I'd made. Each one had seemed right at the time. Each one had been an act of love. But love shouldn't make you disappear. I started getting job rejections that felt automated, impersonal. Your application has been reviewed. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. The shelter had a 30-day limit. After that, you had to leave for at least 2 weeks before you could come back. The social worker, a tired-looking woman named Patricia, helped me apply for assistance programs, food stamps, Medicaid, housing vouchers with waiting lists 2 years long. Do you have family? She asked, filling out forms. No, I said. The word felt true in a way that hurt. Friends? Anyone who could help? I thought about Tom, wondered where he was, if he was happy, if he'd found someone who knew how to be loved without drowning in obligation. No, I said again. On day 23, I was sitting in the shelter's common area, filling out another useless job application, when one of the other women sat down next to me. Her name was Lorraine. She was maybe 60, with gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, and scars on her arms she didn't bother to hide. "You're different from most of us," she said. "How so?" "You still think you did something wrong," she said. "Like this is your fault somehow." I didn't answer. "Let me guess," Lorraine continued. "You gave everything to your family, worked yourself to the bone for them, and when you needed help, they weren't there." I looked at her. "How did you know?" "Because that's how I ended up here too," she said. 20 years ago. Husband left me with 3 kids. I worked 2 jobs, put them through school, sacrificed everything. Then I got sick cancer and lost my job because I missed too much work during treatment. Called my kids for help. What did they say? Same things yours probably said. They were busy. They had their own problems. They'd help if they could, but you know how it is. She smiled, but there was no humor in it. I used to think I'd failed them somehow, didn't raise them right. But then I realized I raised them exactly the way I treated myself, like my needs didn't matter, and they learned that lesson real well. "So what do you do?" I asked. My voice cracked. "How do you live with it?" "You stop expecting people to be who they're not," Lorraine said, "and you start building a life that's actually yours, not the scraps left over after everyone else takes what they want." That night, I wrote my mother a letter. I didn't send it. I just needed to write it, to see the words outside my head. "Mom, I gave you 15 years. I gave you my 20s and my 30s. I gave you my education, my career, my relationship, my future. I gave you everything I had, and I never asked for anything in return. That was my mistake. Not the giving, the not asking. I taught you that I didn't need anything, that I was fine, that I was strong enough to handle everything alone. And you believed me because it was convenient to believe me. When I called for help, you couldn't hear me. Not because you're a bad person, but because I trained you not to listen for my voice. I made myself invisible. I don't blame you, not anymore. But I can't be invisible anymore either. I don't know what comes next, but it won't be this." I folded the letter and put it in my lockbox with the old acceptance letter I'd carried all these years. 2 pieces of paper, 2 different lives I'd never lived. On day 29, I got a call from a small credit union across town. They were looking for someone to help set up their new loan department. The pay was less than I'd made at the bank, but it was something. The interview was with a woman named Sandra. She was maybe 50, with laugh lines and reading glasses on a chain around her neck. "You've had a gap in employment," she said, looking at my resume. "Yes," I said. I decided not to lie. "I was laid off and couldn't find work. I lost my apartment. I've been staying at a shelter." I waited for her face to change, for the interview to end. Instead, Sandra nodded slowly. "My sister went through something similar," she said. "After her divorce. She's a teacher, master's degree, 20 years experience, ended up living in her car for 3 months. "I'm sorry," I said automatically. "The thing is," Sandra continued, "she's the strongest person I know. Not because she didn't fall apart, she did, but because she kept getting up. That's the kind of person I want working here." I got the job. The apartment I could afford was tiny, a 4th-floor walk-up in a neighborhood that made the shelter workers nervous. But it had a door that locked and a window that looked out over a scrubby little park. And it was mine. I bought furniture from Goodwill. A table with uneven legs. A couch with a mystery stain. A bed frame someone had painted bright yellow for some reason. It was ugly and mismatched and perfect. On my first day off, I went to a community college. I sat in the admissions office, 38 years old, and asked about degree programs. "It's never too late," the counselor said. I thought about Margaret's warning years ago. Don't wait too long. Someday has a way of never coming. But I was still here, broken, exhausted, alone. But here. "I want to study social work," I said. "I want to help people who fall through the cracks." Because I knew what that felt like now. The falling, the crack, the desperate scramble for something solid. Mom called 6 months later. I was in class, so I let it go to voicemail. Sweetheart, I haven't heard from you in so long. Jim and I are engaged. Can you believe it? We're having a small ceremony in June. I'd love for you to be there. Maybe you could help with the planning? You're so good at that stuff. Call me back. I listened to the message 3 times. Then I deleted it. Rachel texted a few weeks after that. Hey, long time no talk. My showcase went amazing. I might have a real audition coming up. Things are really happening for me. How are you doing? I didn't respond. Danny sent a Facebook message. Big sister, haven't seen you in forever. The baby's due in 2 months. It's a girl. We're thinking about names. What do you think about Emma? Also, we're registering at Target if you want to grab something. Hope you're well. I unfriended him. It hurt less than I thought it would. Or maybe it hurt in a different way, the clean pain of cutting something out instead of the dull ache of carrying it. I met Lorraine for coffee once a month. She'd gotten into a housing program, had a small apartment near mine. We didn't talk much about our families. Instead, we talked about books, about the neighborhood, about the small victories and defeats of building a life from scratch. You're doing good, she said one afternoon, watching me over her mug. You look different. Different how? Less haunted, she said. More here. I thought about that. About being here. Present. Taking up space in my own life. On my 40th birthday, I woke up in my yellow-framed bed in my ugly apartment. I made myself breakfast eggs and toast, nothing fancy. The sun came through the window at an angle that made the dust motes visible, tiny galaxies floating in the light. I thought about my family, wondered what they were doing, if they ever wondered about me. If they told themselves stories about where I'd gone and why I'd disappeared. Maybe I was the ungrateful one, the one who abandoned them after all they'd done for me. Maybe I was the one who finally chose myself. Both could be true. I was learning to live with that. I finished my breakfast and washed the dishes. I had class in an hour and homework to finish, and a life to live. A small life, a quiet life. But mine. The phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this... A pause. Is this the woman who helped me with my loan application last month, at the credit union? Yes, I said. This is she. I just wanted to call and thank you. The voice was older, wavering. You spent so much time with me, explained everything. I got approved. I'm getting a car. I can get to my job now. I can see my grandkids. I'm so glad, I said. And I meant it. You saved my life, the woman said. I just wanted you to know that. After we hung up, I stood in my little kitchen and cried. Not from sadness this time, from something else, something that felt almost like hope. I'd spent so many years thinking love meant disappearing, making myself small so others could be big, pouring myself out until there was nothing left. But maybe real love, the kind that mattered, was something else entirely. Maybe it was showing up, being present, helping when you could, from a place of fullness, not emptiness. Maybe it was knowing that your needs mattered too, that you couldn't help anyone from the bottom of a well. I thought about my family, tried to summon anger or bitterness, but found only a kind of sad understanding. They weren't villains. They were just people who'd been given everything and never learned to give back. Who'd been taught that my strength meant I didn't need tenderness. I'd taught them that, and now I had to unlearn it myself. The acceptance letter, the one from when I was 23, was still in my lockbox. I took it out and looked at it one last time. The paper was yellowed now, fragile at the creases. Then I threw it away. I didn't need that anymore. That life, that person, that version of me who thought sacrifice and love were the same thing. I was someone else now, someone harder maybe. Lonelier, certainly, but free. I stood at my window and looked out at the scrubby little park. An old man fed pigeons on a bench. A young mother pushed a stroller. Life, continuing in its small and ordinary ways. I thought, Family is supposed to be the place where you can be weak, where you can fall and know someone will catch you. But what if they don't catch you? Then you learn to catch yourself. And maybe, eventually, you build something new. Not a family of blood, but a family of choice. People who see you, who show up, who understand that love isn't taking its tending. I wasn't there yet, but I could see it somewhere ahead. A life where I was whole, not because someone completed me, but because I'd learned to complete myself. It would take time, maybe years, maybe forever. But I had time now. For the first time in my life, I had time that was my own. I picked up my backpack, grabbed my keys, and headed to class. Behind me, the apartment stood empty. The ugly furniture, the yellow bed frame, the window with its view of ordinary life. Home. Not perfect, not what I'd imagined, but mine. And that, I was learning, was enough.